this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, and we're doing another Cooking with Kenshin1913. Where is everybody? That's alright, because today we're going to be making my specialty, a signature dish that I'm pretty good at making. It's Chicken Marsala. Alright, so the ingredient that we're going to need here is chicken. I've got 2 packages, thinly sliced chicken breasts. If you just get regular chicken breasts, or chicken cutlets, you can use those too. Next, we're going to be needing some prosciutto. That's basically an Italian cured ham. Yeah, this ingredient is optional because my aunt makes it without it. She says it's just as good. I don't know. We're also going to need flour for dredging our chicken. We're going to need some salt, some chicken stock, some Marsala wine. We're going to need some mushrooms, pepper, and paprika. So let us get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do with our flour here, it's getting dredged, is we're going to add some ingredients to it, some spices. We're going to add a little bit of pepper. I use black pepper for this. Sometimes I use peppercorn, but for this one I'm going to use some black pepper. Probably about a teaspoon or so. Paprika, because it's going to give it some it's going to give the chicken some nice color. I kind of eye it. I don't know. This is probably like maybe a teaspoon and a half, maybe. And then here I'm going to add salt to our flour instead of adding salt to our chicken here. I'm going to add, let's see, just a little bit, not too much. So what we're going to do is with our fork here, just mix everything together. Make sure to get this all good. You want to make sure to really incorporate everything, and if you want you can add a little more paprika to make it a little redder. I like to do it so it gives it a little color. So the next thing we're going to do is add oil to our pan, and we're going to add, this is olive oil. I'm adding just a little bit, just enough, and a little bit more. You got to coat the pan, of course. Now I'm going to turn that on to medium high. Let that baby get warmed up. Alright, with our chicken breasts, what we're going to want to do is, if you don't have thinly sliced chicken breasts, obviously cut them up and you know, get them into thin. Well, actually, they don't have to be that thin, but thinner is better to cook the chicken in. So what we're going to do is get it out, and we're going to dredge it in some flour. Come on. Don't be a bitch. There we go. Alright, let's dredge this in some flour here. Alright, so the dredging process, you're going to take your chicken. Apparently I've got 2 pieces. And you're going to take it and you're going to just dredge it in the flour like so. Make sure to get every little nook and cranny. But the thing about this is, come on, you damn fork. Seriously. It's like the curse of the video. Anyways, you want to make sure to get every nook and cranny with the chicken. And now the big thing you want to do is shake off any excess. Come on. You gotta shake off any excess flour. And now we're going to add it to our oil. Now the oil is probably not hot yet. There we go. So we're gonna let the oil get hot. I probably shouldn't have put those in, but you know, I usually do like a test one, and we're gonna let those cook till they're about golden brown. And yeah, I'm just gonna continue to cook them. The dredging process isn't so hard. This is actually a very easy recipe. So what I'm going to do is fry up all the chicken, and I'll be right back. Alright, as you can see, our chicken is getting nice and brown here. As you're cooking it, you're going to want to be careful for any spitting. Be very gentle with it. And yeah, you kind of want this kind of brown right here. Oh. You can definitely use tongs if you want. Make sure not to overcrowd the pan either. But I just kind of want to show you what what color you want the chicken to be. As you can see, about if they're thinly sliced enough, about 5 minutes aside. So what you want to keep doing is I got like about 10 or so pieces of chicken I'm going to be cooking. So once it's all done, we'll come back and we'll make the marsala sauce. While our chicken is frying, and we don't really need to monitor it the whole time. This is prosciutto. This is a cured Italian ham. You don't need to use it, but I'm going to. And what we're going to want to do, since it is very thinly sliced, I'm just going to take it off the little wrap that they got here. And I'm just going to cut it up with a flat knife. We're just going to cut it because we want it in tiny little chunks. So what I'm going to do is just cut it up. I like rolling it because it makes it easier. Maybe I should have used a serrated knife. It might have been better, but that's alright. The prosciutto doesn't have to be perfect. So you just gotta cut it, and then from here what I like to do is I spin it like this, and I cut it in half. Now with the prosciutto, we don't need to, I really should have used a serrated knife. But what you don't need to do, hell, you can even pull it apart if you want. But you don't have to add salt after this section. I'm just going to rip it apart. Because, this is very salty ham. So all you really have to do, as you can see, is just knead it in like little itty bitty chunks. So I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll be right back with all the chicken ready. Alright, here's the last piece of chicken. And I'm taking it out, wiping it down, doing a little shaky shake. Now you see the bits on the bottom here? You want that. That's going to be the good stuff. So what I did was I lowered the heat to medium. I'm going to throw in the prosciutto. Alright, I'm going to let that cook for just a few minutes. Let it render out some of that delicious fat. Again, this is optional. While you're doing this and letting it cook, what you should do is open up your can of mushrooms. One thing that I did forget to mention in the beginning with the ingredients is you're going to need 2 tablespoons of butter. So yeah, actually, you know what? Let's not mess with it. Let's just let it do its thing. So, I've been making chicken marsala for quite a long time. And I just find it one of my favorite recipes. It's one of my go-to recipes whenever I want to make something fancy or whatever. It's a great recipe. Seriously, you don't need the prosciutto if you don't want it. I think it adds another layer of deliciousness. Whenever I go to a restaurant and I order chicken marsala, I always usually they always have prosciutto. But as you can see, you know how there were drippings on the bottom? They're all getting sucked up they're all getting cleaned out by the prosciutto here. You're kind of cleaning off the drippings. So I've already let's just let this cook. And I've already opened up my can of mushrooms. I'm using 2 of them. I'm using I believe these are button mushrooms. You can use whichever one you want. The first time I had it, they called for cremini mushrooms. I don't even know where the hell you can get those. I just used the button ones. I drained out the water. You can use fresh mushrooms as well. It is very delicious. Yeah, let's just let this cook for another minute or 2. Another moment. So, yeah, this is what the chicken should look like, as you can see. And yeah, this is where it's all going to come together. Let this cook, and really like it drains out not only the little bit of fat that it has on there, you get some of the salt in there. This is why actually I don't salt and pepper them. Well, I'm going to pepper the mushrooms, so I'm not going to salt it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is throw in our mushrooms. I use 2 cans, which is 2 6.5 ounce cans of mushrooms. Gonna let this cook up. Put a little pepper. you know what? I'll just put a touch of salt. Not a lot. It'll help get the moisture out of the mushrooms. Just a touch. Now what we want to do is get the mushrooms in there and really let those cook. This will probably take about 5 minutes. And yeah, so if you're not using the prosciutto, first thing you do is throw in your mushrooms. I'm actually going to turn up the heat a little bit to medium. Anyways, what you want to do is you really want to let the mushrooms and everything really get cooked. I mean, they're already cooked a little bit, but you really want to get some of that, like, you see how there's like liquid at the bottom of the pan a little bit? You kind of want that to disappear. So you know what? We'll be right back, or I'll be right back when we get it to the proper cookness. All right, we got the mushrooms and the prosciutto to where I want them. Now we're going to add ourselves some Marsala wine. You add about a half a cup. I'm going to judge it because I've been doing it for so long. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing. You add either a half a cup or a whole cup depending on what you're doing. Usually you want to make sure to do equal portions chicken stock and equal portions Marsala. So now what we're going to do is let the Marsala cook out. We're going to get the alcohol cooked out. So you just got to let it boil for like a moment or two. It'll cook out all. This is actually where the Marsala comes in, of course. Now, actually, I guess if you don't have any Marsala, you can totally use white wine or cooking sherry, I think. I've never actually done it with anything else, but sometimes if I don't have Marsala, I'll just do white wine and call it like chicken blah 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 Bianco. I guess you could call it. That's white in Italian. Anyways, while this is going, let's open up our chicken stock. Get it ready. Yeah, you really only have to let it boil or simmer or whatever for like a moment or two, and it'll cook out the alcohol. And you can kind of get Marsala anywhere. I mean, shit, they sell it at the grocery stores, depending on what state you live in, I guess. Anyone know the history of Marsala wine? I don't know. Anyways, it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to add myself some chicken stock, about a half a cup or a whole cup, depending on how much you are making with the Marsala there. You kind of want to let this come up to a boil again, because as you're putting things in, you're actually lowering the temp of the pan and the heat in the thing. So you want to let this come up to a boil. And well, the final little ingredient we're going to add is 2 tablespoons of butter, but we're going to let this come up to a boil first. Because what we're going to do, and let's say, alright, say you're like, oh crud, I put too much Marsala in. I put too much chicken stock. I like to save the flour that you dredge the chicken in, just in case you think the sauce is a little too thin for you. You can always add just a little bit of flour to thicken it up. And it's the flour, it's seasoned flour from the chicken. The only thing is, make sure you let it cook a little bit because it has been exposed to chicken. But yeah, this looks like it's gonna be pretty good here. Because one thing that you're gonna do at the end is you're gonna put the chicken back in. That'll also thicken it up. But like if you put way too much Marsala or way too much chicken stock, you can always add a little bit of flour from the dredging. That's why I like to save it until the very end. Because people are known to make mistakes. I mean, I've made Marsala so many times that occasionally I do I add a little bit too much because I'm getting a little cocky. And there you go. So this is 2 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna put it right in. We're gonna let this baby melt. It could be unsalted butter or salted butter, since you didn't really add. If you're not adding a lot of salt, don't use unsalted. If you can't find unsalted, salted is fine. Just kind of let it just watch your salt intake. Is what I'm trying to get at. Anyways, we're just gonna mix that in, let it melt, and the butter just brings another layer of deliciousness to it. It's gonna be friggin' awesome. I haven't made my own chicken marsala in a long time. Usually my aunt Elaine, the one who helped make chicken piccata and some of the other stuff, she makes chicken marsala, and me and her always have like a little bet going, like whose is better. And obviously I take my side, but sometimes hers is good. And whenever I go to the restaurants and order chicken marsala, I'm always like, mine is better. I put my nose up, I get a little cocky. I'm like, mine's better. So as you can see, it's boiling away. You got this nice layer of liquid. Now what we're gonna do, the final step, is you add the chicken back in. You don't have to if you don't want to. I guess if you're not a big fan of the sauce, or for some reason you don't want a lot of sauce, what I do is I put it back in and I flip it twice, so that each side will get some of the juice. What I like to do too is kind of push everything to one side so that you can get the juice in here, and then just get some of that goodness in here. And yeah, I'll just throw it on top. But I want to show you a little trick that I do at the end. I dunked that enough. What I like to do at the very end of this whole thing is, I'm just gonna throw them all in and then just show you. The little oil that you get on the bottom of the pan right here? I like to just put that back in, because that's all gonna incorporate everything. And so what I want to do is just keep mixing these. So this is just how you make chicken marsala. What I'm gonna do is just let this. What I like to do is just let this cook for a few minutes in the sauce, and then serve it up with some linguine or spaghetti or whatever your favorite pasta is. And once again, at this point, if you're like, oh man, there's way too much liquid, add some of the flour. So let us plate this up. Alright, we're going to take out our chicken here. I'm going to take this piece here. I know you can't see it, sorry. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take a little bit of this stuff. You want to get as much prosciutto and mushrooms as possible. It's delicious with any kind of ronies. So, you know what, let's chow down. Alright, here's our chicken marsala. Look at it. Doesn't it look delicious? So I'm going to take a piece of prosciutto and some mushrooms and some chicken and eat it up. You got that nice little bit of saltiness. You got the mushrooms, that's really good. The chicken, you can really taste a little bit of that wine, a little sweet there. So yeah, this is a dish I make. This is a really good one to make for a date night if you got it. I've done it a few times, So yeah, this has been Peter, Kenshin1913. I hope you enjoyed the chicken marsala, and as my mom would say, enjoy and happy eating. See ya.